focus has been placed on the sporty Tissot PRX as of late, and for good reason. It's caused waves across the industry for offering an attractive entry point to the 70s-inspired integrated sports watch design. But the Swiss brand has a long tradition of dress watches that sit in stark contrast to the sportier PRX. The latest Chemin de Tourelles, named after the road the manufacturer was founded on, are evidence that Tissot still has dress watch chops in its arsenal, and with their new skeleton dials, present a classic dress watch that caters to modern tastes. There are 3 different styles of this model, each with its own personality and differences. Perhaps the most classical execution features a sunray finished and ivory hued chapter ring with gold-plated hands and baton indices. Turning the modernization up a bit, Tissot has also introduced a blue dial variant with traditional elements such as a hobnail texture and Roman numerals on the chapter ring, notably offered on a 5-link metal bracelet that gives it a casual daily flair. But the model we have in hand, however, is the most modern in feel, with its stealthy and smoky blackened aesthetic. With its black PVD case and smoked crystal, this is a dark, mysterious watch that seems almost futuristic in its execution of classical elements, such as alpha-style hands and a chapter ring with applied indices. While the skeletonization of the watch works to reveal the movement, the smoke crystal simultaneously works against it to conceal the Powermatic 80 caliber, or rather, create the effect of darkened bridges to better match the hue of the externals. The case, clocking in at what many consider to be a Goldilocks 39mm diameter, exhibits mixed finishes that become a tad more subtle in this particular expression, and that's due to the black PVD-coated stainless steel. The bezel is very thin, which will make the watch feel a bit larger visually with its larger dial, but you'll be glad to know that the lug-to-lug is just under 44mm. Also, the case is a reasonable 11.2mm thick, including its domed sapphire crystal. Last point on the case, just so you're aware, it's 50 meters water resistant should you wish to surface swim with it. But unless you're looking at the blue model on a bracelet, I doubt you're going to. The openworked dial is ultimately the biggest change the Chemin de Tourelles Skeleton brings into the mix, exposing the Powermatic 80 movement, the very same movement found in automatic PRX watches. This movement was added to the Chemin de Tourelles line just last year, and while those models were kept very clean and classical, the Skeletons show off its 80-hour automatic caliber by not only cutting this big window out of the dial, but also doing a partial skeletonization of the movement, with components such as the balance wheel and the gear train now exposed, with even the barrel holding the mainspring having cutouts in it. While the finishing here is very businesslike, for its $930 US price tag, you're still getting a lot of watch for your money with these models. Its black leather strap completes the predominant all-black look. Tissot strap options for the lineup are all interchangeable with quick-release systems, but unfortunately there is yet to be a blackened 5-link bracelet, and I personally feel like you will want to keep this watch on a black strap. But it would at least be hassle-free to attempt to prove me wrong. I don't think you will, though. This monochromatic variant is a very moody execution of what would previously feel like a classical watch at its core. This model, however, feels like the latest generation, made for those who prefer to look forward rather than back into the past. While not a dial aesthetic born in the modern era, for whatever reason, I associate skeletonization and openworking with a more modern look. Perhaps were the bridges engraved, it would feel more classical, but the watch would also be more expensive. But when skeletonization or openworking is presented with a more industrial finish, it just seems more futuristic. Ultimately, the Chemin de Tourelles Skeleton provides consumers with more options and aesthetics to explore within the lineup, catering to various points on the spectrum between classic and modern in terms of their visual. And with this lineup starting at $895 US, it sits at a more accessible and welcoming price point for those looking for their first or simply just a new skeletonized watch. This all-black Tissot Chemin de Tourelles Skeleton watch is priced at $930 US, and it's available now. So look, here's what I want to know in the comments. First, tell me what you think of this watch. Second, I want to know if you prefer solid dials or openwork dials. Where do you sit? Which do you prefer? Let us know in the comments below. After you've done that, do me a huge solid, hit that subscribe button so we can keep you apprised of the latest watch news, reviews, and content. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.